If you really care about giving a great gift to those you were meant to serve, then you want to give it to them in the way that they truly desire.
Wake up, it's time to be free. Wake up, was blind, now I see. Wake up, it's time to be me. Wake up, my mind is the key.
Wake up, it's time to be me. Wake up, my mind is the key.
Welcome. It's Julian Gordon here with another episode of the Daily Jules. And you know, I am here to increase your degrees of freedom. The only degree that matters is your degree of freedom. I don't care how many college degrees you have. That's not what's important. The only thing that matters is not how much money you make, but actually how you make money. And do you enjoy the way that you earn a living? I'm really committed to people profiting from their purpose. I believe that you were meant to profit from your purpose. And that's what freedom really is to me. It's not about having stockpiles of money built up to the ceiling. It's actually about being able to live your life the way you desire and give your gift to the world freely. And so I got a great question from Kazi today around how do you make money as a business coach? And I want to share with you my different business models as a business coach. So business coach, business models. Okay. So I'll tell you my journey, and I'll tell you it in a sequential order so that you can actually understand how I got to where I got. And just because this was my blueprint doesn't mean that it is the path that you need to take. You may start in a different place, but these are ways that you can round out your business, diversify your revenue streams to create a more robust business around the work that you do. So my journey first started out actually as a speaker. You know, I did my UCLA graduation speech, then I did my Stanford graduation speech, and I was like, you know what, there's something here in my voice and my words and my message, and that was it. I had those speeches, but I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to be a professional speaker. And it wasn't until I actually wrote a blog post called 66 Things to Do Before You Graduate that actually went viral on the internet. And I actually reached out to the National Society of Collegiate Scholars to share it with their membership because I was an alumni of the National Society of Collegiate Scholars. And when I shared it with them, they were happy to send it out. But then they asked me, hey, Julian, do you have a presentation for this? And I was like, now I do. And so what that led to was me going down to DC a few weeks later, actually delivering a presentation on the 66 things for them. And what we created from that was the Route 66 tour. The Route 66 tour is where I went to quite a few of their campuses over a 3-month period. That was like my first tour. And that's how speaking really picked up. And so the first one for me was speaking, okay? That was the first business model for me. And speaking, my first speech was around $2,500. That was at the University of Michigan. It was a Ross School of Business. A student that had been in one of the programs I worked in when I was at MLT, a nonprofit, invited me to come speak at the Women in Business Conference. And that's where I got my first $2,500 check. I was so excited. And now my speaking fee is way beyond that. But this is where it all started. From there, it transitioned into this book that you see behind me right there, which is books, right? So I published The 8 Cylinders of Success, and I published Guaranteed Goals, and I started pushing my books. And so not only would I go do my speeches, but I would also offer the client to buy books for everybody who was attending, or I would sell my books from the back of the room, right? My books weren't selling like hotcakes on Amazon, but they were a way to upsell or sell after my speeches, right? In addition to that came 101 Things to Do Before You Graduate, the book that went along with the Route 66 tour. So I expanded on the 66 things, and then it became 101 Things to Do Before You Graduate. So those were my first 3 books, and now I think I'm like up to 10. Some of them are workbooks, but they're like 7 legitimate books, and then I have other workbooks. But books are books, and they sell and they make money. So from there, what happened was I went to live events, and several of you have been to my live events, and this is where I did things like Driving School for Life, which was based on the 8 cylinders of success, right? I did the interview for people who were seeking to change careers and wanted to understand who they were and what they wanted, so that who they were aligned with what they ultimately did. And then of course I have my New Year events right at the beginning of the year. And now this year we added on another one, which was the Entrepreneur Year Live, right? Where I help entrepreneurs actually plan out their entire year. So that went into live events. Now live events can be cost intensive, especially when you're putting down a few $1,000s for a venue. It can limit you locally if you don't have the following yet for people to actually desire to fly in to come see you. But I will tell you this, that live events is a great way to have people out of their traditional rhythm wherever they live, and it puts them in a different state. And in that state, they are more open and receptive to change, right? So usually at a live event, I would say sometimes people make tons of money off of live events, and that's great. That hasn't necessarily been the case for me yet, and this is a space that I want to strengthen in because I want to be able to create my own stage and fill my own seats, but that's not where I am yet. So what tends to happen is that maybe I'll break even on a live event, but then, you know, from there I can have coaching clients that come out of that, right? So people experience the event live, but then they're like, you know, I want some more one-on-one with you. Now, I don't do too much one-on-one anymore. You know that my business model has transitioned to actual masterminds, right? Masterminds. And masterminds are basically where you are, it's similar to group coaching, but there's some difference between group coaching, and I have videos on that, the difference between mastermind and group coaching, but it's where you're coaching multiple people at once. To get me for 1 hour, one person to pay me for an hour, it's pretty expensive, right? But I can actually give my wisdom to the world in a more cost-effective way for everyone who's involved through a mastermind. And on top of that, in a mastermind, I am not the end-all be-all where everybody's just coming to me for answers. In a mastermind, you create a culture where everybody contributes and gives to each other. And that's what's really powerful about a mastermind, right? And this is why I have dedicated so much of my time and energy to not only building this for myself, but also helping others build masterminds, because I really believe strong transformation and true transformation comes in the context of community, right? If I coach somebody one-on-one and then they go back to a community that doesn't really support any of the insights that we came up with during the coaching, then that's what I'm fighting against as a coach. But if I have a culture of people who are actually working together towards similar goals and believe for each other, right? Things which the individual may not believe for themselves yet, that's the power of a mastermind, okay? And this concept comes from Napoleon Hill. Now, actually, before this is a little bit out of sequence. Before this, I actually went into online courses. Online courses. So this is where the Freedom School is now, but the online courses came about here in my journey. And the online courses are powerful because you can transmit information in a structured way, in a curriculum-based way to people, even when you're not present. The only challenge with online courses is that there are a lot of people who are great at selling online courses, but their students aren't necessarily great at finishing them. And there's some people who out there who are happy to take your money for their $2,000, $3,000 online course, and they could care less whether or not you finish it, right? And the research shows that only about 7% of people actually finish online courses on their own. That's pretty poor. And so that's why, for me, my online courses are actually baked into my mastermind. So not only do you get the course, but you get coaching and you get the group collective accountability. And this is why my journey has led to masterminds, because I believe that it's actually the most effective business model for creating transformation. I'm not just here for the transfer of information. I'm actually here for people's transformation. And so over time, I've evolved. So for me, it's all about true impact. And as the founder of the Freedom School, I can name 4 people who I've actually freed, like literally, like Harriet Tubman, who I've actually freed. I can name 4 people who are freed, and my commitment in this life is to free more and more people. And there's other people who would say, you helped free me, but there are 4 people who I know for a fact that because of working with me in these different capacities, that they are free. They are free from corporate plantation. They are free from lives that they did not enjoy and did not love, and they are actually making money an abundant amount of money doing what they love on a daily basis now. And so this has been my journey, and there are pros and cons to each one of these particular business models. Like speaking, I can go in and I can impact for a moment, but out of all those people that I speak to, perhaps the seed only gets planted with 10% of the people, and then I'm gone and they're gone and we don't meet again unless they're on my email list and they get engaged in some of these other things. A book is great, but you're reading a book alone, right? And I think a book is a great way to get your message out there and create that first interaction with people. And plus, it's very low cost. It's anywhere from $10 to $20, right? So books are great, but then again, there's no accountability when somebody reads a book. How do they go deeper with you? And then, of course, you can have live events, but live events like speaking, right? Unless it's like a 3-day live event, it could be just an in and out thing. And I'm not just here for inspiration. Inspiration isn't enough. Inspiration and transformation are two different things. There's a lot of people out there online who are inspiring, right? But you get inspired and 10 minutes later, you're back into the same old, right? I'm really committed to transformation. Transformation happens for me in these two spaces. That's where the most transformation happens in terms of, I know if somebody's with me one-on-one, transform, right? I know if somebody's with me in mastermind, transform. Online courses is kind of like a video version of a book, right? It's like a video version of a book. So I would say that the transformation is probably less with an online course. So if I really had to sequence this, this was actually my process here. So this would be 3, this would be 3, this would be 4, and this would be 5. This would be 4, 4, 5, and 6. And there's some people who are selling, again, tons of books or tons of online courses, but if they're really committed to transformation, then I think you continue to upgrade towards these levels where you know that you are willing to take on responsibility and commitment to the client's transformation, not just getting money from them. So as a business coach, this is how my business has evolved over time. And really quickly, let me give you some numbers in terms of, where these things are to date. Books is literally a small percent. It's almost negligible. Live events, I only do a couple per year. The rest are actually baked into my mastermind. So live events is negligible, or for me, break even. Some people, that's their entire bread and butter. For me, coaching, like I said, I don't do too much one-on-one coaching anymore. I have a couple clients who are millionaires who I actually coach. And the reason I coach them, even though I'm not a millionaire yet, keyword yet, okay, is because they have a lot of money, but they aren't living the life that they truly desire. They're not making money in the way that they truly desire. And so it's not just about how much money you make. And a lot of people say, oh yeah, if I was a millionaire, I'd be happy. And I know quite a few who are not happy, and they come to me for coaching in terms of lifestyle design and giving them permission to actually go live the life that they truly desire. So for me, my big winners from my business model, this may be different for you, is here. I would say this is about 40%. This is about 50%, and this is about 10%. So that's my business model as a business coach. And some people get to these other ones that are making me true profits through these other avenues here. So this is how I break it down. Again, your sequence may not be the same as mine. You may find that you are a more powerful author than I am, or you're great at producing events, whereas I'm not, right? So you have to find the mix that's best for you, but this is how you can round out your business model so that you are getting paid in different ways. And you know, some people like live events and they hate online courses, right? It could be the same exact content in the book, live event, course, online course, and coach, same content, but these are different ways of your potential client getting and receiving the content from you. And that's what makes this powerful. And if you really care about giving a great gift to those you were meant to serve, then you want to give it to them in the way that they truly desire. Some people like their coffee with milk. Some people like it hot. Some people like it a little bit cold. Some people like it, black, right? If you really care, you're going to give it to them in the way that they truly desire. So this is how a business coach can develop several different business models, 6 different business models. There are other ones, but these I think are the core ones that you can develop as a business coach. And I encourage you to always try to add on one more each year. Not to say that it's going to cannibalize the one that you do have, but just to offer what you're already offering in a new way to the same or new clients. All right. So this is Julian Gordon with another episode of the Daily Jules. I hope that this episode has blessed you. Thank you, Chris Kazi Roll, for the amazing question, and I will see you in the next episode. Peace. I hope these mindsets, metaphors, and methodologies blessed you. If you desire more freedom, go to getfreenow.com to subscribe to the show on iTunes, YouTube, or Facebook, and get 4 of my best courses in the Freedom School for 100% free.